Hello everyone, this is Dad Life with the first in a new series of videos I'm going to be doing each and every month, highlighting my picks from the Quest Plus catalog that I think you should check out that month. Each month I will release this video by the 15th of the month to give you plenty of time to download those games before they potentially go away if you wanted to. And then I'll also make sure I'm always highlighting at least one of the two games that are new that month that are only available for that one month. So that way you have an idea of if they're worth your time to check out. So without further ado, let's take a look at what my picks are from the MetaQuest Plus catalog for the month of December. So, first up, I really wanted to highlight two games that really illustrate why I personally love the MetaQuest Plus subscription. And that is, it allows me to play games I never would have normally chose myself. I wouldn't have spent my money individually on these games if it wasn't for the MetaQuest subscription, getting me access to them. So what are those games? Well, the first one is Moss. This is one of the two that are only available for the month of December. So if it sounds interesting to you, definitely check it out before the month is out and get it downloaded so you don't miss out. But what Moss is it is a puzzle platforming game where you play as a mouse going on an adventure in a fantasy world. Now, this game has been out for a while and is very well regarded in the VR world as a great game. Tons of great reviews, won awards, all of that good stuff, but I was never interested in it. The reason being, I really am not drawn to puzzle games in general, and platforming games in VR just don't really appeal to me normally. Normally, if I want to play a platforming game, I'll just grab my Nintendo Switch or something else. I don't feel the need to play that in VR. So, despite how well regarded Moss was, I probably would have never played it if it wasn't featured on the MetaQuest Plus subscription. Now, with that said, I decided to give it a try since it was one of the games only available for December. So I was like, let me check it out, see if it's worth getting. Um, and I was totally wrong. It is amazing. It is a great game. The moment you get into it, at least for me, not to sound maybe cheesy, but it was a magical experience, right? Like the world they created is so charming and like immersive. You're immediately drawn into this like fantasy woodland setting where you're this mouse trying to help them, you know, solve these puzzles and beat these bad guys so they can complete their quest. It's amazing. The environments really draw you in, the art style is great. A plus on all of that. It was really, I was surprised that a platforming game, a third person platforming game where you're just controlling this little mouse as it goes through the level could be that immersive. Now, I keep referring to it as a platforming game, but let me be clear. This is most definitely a puzzle game first. So the structure of the game is basically you come into a level, it's an environment that you have to manipulate to kind of solve the puzzle of how this level needs to be laid out for your mouse to then complete its platforming part to get through the level. So it's definitely a puzzle game first. None of the platforming in here is like, Donkey Kong or Super Mario Bros. It's not super complex. It's pretty straightforward platforming. Um, most of where you're going to get your gears turning playing this game are figuring out the puzzles of each world. And even though I'm not a puzzle person, I don't particularly normally not drawn to puzzle games. I really enjoyed this. Like the puzzles were not too complicated for me. They weren't too simple for me. Maybe for some, puzzle game veterans, they might think this is super simple. For me, it was just the right amount. I got stuck a couple times, but was always able to figure it out. And really, really enjoyed the puzzles. I am not completely done the game in full transparency, so I haven't beat the game yet. I would estimate I'm about halfway to three-quarters of the way through. Looking it up online, it says the average playthrough of the game is like 4 to 5 hours to complete the whole game. So you're getting a decent amount of game time out of this, to where, it'll keep you engaged for a little while there. But yeah, it's It's been a big surprise for me. I did not expect to enjoy this game as much as I have, and I definitely recommend you check it out if you like puzzle games. But even if you don't like puzzle games or platformers, it's still worth your time to check it out if you're a Quest Plus member, because it really surprised me how much I enjoyed it, even though this isn't typically the style of game I would choose to play. One quick note as a parent, this game is definitely kid friendly. You could have your kids play this no problem. Some of the puzzles, depending on the age or abilities of your child, may be difficult, but that's where being able to stream your quest to the TV or to a mobile device makes it great. So your kid could be playing this and streaming it to the TV or your phone, and you could help them through some of the more difficult puzzle sequences. So this could be a really cool game to play with your kid if you wanted. It is a one-player game, but you could help out your child in that way if you play it. But yeah, definitely a good game overall. Definitely recommend it. And I have to say, it's actually got me even tempted to maybe buy Moss 2, which isn't part of Quest Plus, but is available for purchase on the Quest store. I've liked Moss that much that I'm really interested in buying the second one. So my second game that I wanted to highlight for December is sort of in the same family, not exactly, but it's also a puzzle game, a very well regarded and well known puzzle game called Cubism. Cubism, very much like Moss, has been around for a little while now and is very well regarded. But like I mentioned, I'm not really interested in puzzle games, so I was not interested in this game at all. I would have never bought this game, and I would have made a big mistake because Cubism is fantastic. Playing Cubism is amazing, and it fits a slot I was really looking for this month. I was really looking for a game that was kind of a laid back, relaxing game that I could play on the VR in mixed reality and still like associate with my family who may be doing other things on the couch while I'm playing, right? There are not a ton of games that maybe fit that very narrow niche of, playing a game, but also being able to hang out with your family on VR. And this one actually fits it perfect. So if you haven't seen Cubism before, basically you have these Tetris blocks, Tetris style blocks that you are trying to fit to complete certain shapes that you are given. These shapes start out very simple, but they can get very complex and difficult as the game goes on. And yeah, that's basically it. There's not really much else to it other than that. You're fitting these shapes in, but because it's in VR, these shapes are totally 3D, so you can manipulate, turn it, them all different angles, turn the blocks you're using to create these all different angles, and you have to really stretch your brain to figure out how to complete these puzzles. I am nowhere near completing all the puzzles because, again, I'm not great at puzzle games, but I'm still really enjoying the process. The game is super well done in mixed reality, has a nice, like, chill soundtrack that plays while you're, of music that plays while you're playing. It's great. It also has hand tracking as an option to where you don't even need your controllers. You can literally just, move the blocks and shape them together with your hands. I personally am not great at the hand tracking. I don't know if it's just me, but I still use the controller just for it's a little easier for me to manipulate everything and not get frustrated by it. But if you do like the hand tracking, that is definitely an option as well. This is a great game, and I would definitely recommend it. Even if you're not a big puzzle gamer, it's just a nice, relaxing game you could put on and play for a few minutes and stretch your brain a little bit. It's something super satisfying when you have one of these really difficult shapes and to build, and you're able to figure it out just right. It's really, really rewarding. So definitely check it out. And again, from the parent's perspective, totally safe game for your kids to play. Nothing questionable there. Very straightforward. My kids personally, this isn't one that really draws them in. Like Moss, the atmosphere and the characters and all of that draws them to it more. This one is more of just a straightforward building puzzles. But if your kids do like that and they are drawn to that, this is a great game for them to do. So those two are my picks for the month of December. If you like puzzle games at all, definitely check both of them out. Even if you don't like puzzle games, though, I recommend giving them a try because maybe you'll be like me and find that you enjoyed them way more than you ever expected. But yeah, that's my picks for December. Definitely subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for my picks for January. Like I said, I'll get that video out before the 15th of January to give you plenty of time to decide on what you want to get downloaded. But until then, happy gaming and have a good week. Bye bye.